Hello everyone, I am Shobna, Technical Marketing Engineer, Aruba Campus Switching. Welcome to AOS-CX 10.11 update. As part of this session, we'll see about DODIN APL Certification update. This is the third session on the DODIN APL certification. We do have previous sessions posted as well. Let's begin the session. Agenda for today's session is to cover the following abbreviations involved in this video, overview of DODIN APL certification, list of enhancements included for this certification in 10.11 like password complexity, audit logs and censoring, secure session tokens, secure cookies. We will also look into the additional resources and short demo of important features in this DODIN APL certification. Let's see the abbreviations used in this session. First comes DOD, Department of Defense. Next is DISA, Defense Information System Agency. Next is APL, Approved Product List. Let's see the overview about DODIN APL certification. On behalf of the Department of Defense, the Defense Information System Agency maintains the Department of Defense Information Network Approved Product List. This process provides a single consolidated list of products that have met cybersecurity and interoperation certification requirements. The DODIN APL is an acquisition decision support tool for the Department of Defense organization interested in procuring equipment to add to the DISN to support their mission. The US government and defense organizations will only procure products that comply with DODIN APL process for the Department of Defense networks. So far, we have seen about DODIN APL certification. Let us understand the new enhancement added in 10.11 for upgrading this certification. AOS-CX operates under strict adherence to international US government computer security standards in order to meet or exceed the demands and requirements of national agencies, organizations, and publicly funded institutions. Most of our switches are DODIN APL certified from 10.6 release onwards. But once a product is certified, the DoD components perform upgrades and maintenance for the life of the product to meet ongoing security requirements. Hence, these enhancements are added to as update to the existing certification. This enhancement is a host of tertiary security features required to ensure security of these interfaces, WEBUI, and REST. Here is the list of enhancements: password complexity, audit logs and censoring, secure session tokens, and secure cookies. Further details about this feature we'll see in the coming slides. Let's see the first feature, password complexity. The password complexity enhancement involves password character complexity, banning the password reuse and guiding the version changes. It is the enforcement of password complexity rules when configuring user passwords. The password must have at least one lowercase character, one uppercase character, numeric character, and a special character. It will prohibit the password reuse for the defined number of generations. Apart from that, when a password is changed, the characters are changed in at least 8 of the positions within the password. So we do support for this password complexity for the CLI user using the user CLI. For the rest, it is for the user's entity. On post operations, the REST middleware checks the password character complexity rules. On put and patch operations, the REST middleware checks the password character complexity rules, position changes, and password reuse. Let's see the next feature, audit logs and censoring. The audit data generation defines the level of auditable events and specifies the data that shall be recorded in each record. This involves logging the admin login and logout events, logging all the config changes, and even the unsuccessful logins will be logged. All these logs will be present with the timestamp. To improve the risk supportability, our audit logs were extended to include additional information about the request. So these are the new attributes added as part of the log: response status code, request payload, HTTP method, and then URL. So this request payload is first censored and then compacted before it is written to the log. So the maximum size of each log is 4K bytes. Beyond this size, all these logs will be truncated. Let's see the sample logs. For viewing the logs, we need to use the show accounting log show command. This is a sample log taken prior to 10.11 and this is after 10.11. So this log is for user creation when we try to create any new user in our user's entity. So if you see prior to 10.11, it was not containing the HTTP status code or payload. But if you see in 10.11 onwards, it will clearly have the HTTPS status code payload, and the payload will contain the name. Since we are doing a user creation, the user's name is audit and is password. Since password is a secured component, it will be shown with the asterisk sign. Let's see the third feature, secure session tokens. Tokens are frequently sent over the network. As such, they are vulnerable to several types of attacks. While it may seem that these attacks are unlikely, it is important to take session security seriously and deploy appropriate measures. Let's see how it was handled in our case. As part of DODIN APL certification, our switches follow the secure session token guidelines. So the web server must generate unique session ID with following conditions. The session ID should be hard to reproduce. The character set in the session ID should be able to mitigate the brute force attacks, and it should be created with definable entropy, and it has to be generated using FIPS 142 approved random number generator. Here is an example of session token user with its value and session token ID with its value from this domain. So both these session tokens are compiling with these standard rules. Here comes our last feature, secure cookies. Securing cookies is an important subject. When an attacker is able to grab any cookie, he can impersonate the user. So there is a real need for securing our cookies. So as part of DODI APL certification, let's see how we are enhancing the security of the cookies. The first condition is the session cookies must have cookie properties set to prohibit client-side scripts from reading the cookie data. So this can be achieved using the HTTP only flag set in the cookies. And next condition is the session cookies must have cookie properties set to force the encryption of cookies. So they can be sent only over encrypted channel like over HTTPS. So this can be done with a secure flag. Next comes the session cookies must have security settings that disallow the cookies access outside the originating web server and hosted application. So this can be achieved using setting the same site black flag. So let's see the example. Here is the cookie user and its value and cookie ID and its value. So these are originating from this domain and they have been set with HTTP only flag, secure flag and same site flag set with lags. Next comes the resources. Let's see what are the additional resources that will be helpful for us. First is linked to the DODIN APL certification website. For more details about the certification, you can click this link and identify what are the details this certification requires and how our switches have been listed in this portal. Next is link to the certifications available for Aruba. So Aruba switches are not only DODIN APL certified, we are also been certified with other government certifications like FedCert and INDI-CPP. For list of platforms and the corresponding certifications, you can refer this link. Next comes the demo part. So let's see the minimum topology required for demoing some of the important features in this certification. So I'll be using AOS-CX switch and a workstation. So over the management VRF, this switch has been connected to the workstation. And from this workstation, I'll be opening the WEBUI of the switch and then performing the rest operations. Let's see the demo. So first I will demo the audit logs and censoring feature. For this, I'm using two switches. The first switch is in 10.11 version and the second switch is in 10.10 version to show the differences between 10.10 and 10.11 version. So I've opened the management interface of both the switches. So using this IP, let me open the WEBUI of these switches. The 10.86 is for 10.10 version, and 10.6 8.85 is for 10.11 version. So now the WebUI is open. Let me navigate to the REST UI part. So I'll open any of the APIs. Even here I'll open the API. So let me log in. Now the login is successful. Let me do any REST operations. For simple one, I am using the alias. So create a CLI alias. It's one of the simple REST operation. So I'll execute it. The execution is successful. Let me do the same set of operations in the 10.11 version. I will log in and create a alias. Login is successful. Let me create a CLI alias. Similarly, here I'm doing the same. And here also the alias is created. So now let's see the accounting logs in both the switches. First, let's see in 10.10 version how the logs are present. So you can use show accounting log. Can use last command to check the list of events, last 20 events. So let's find where is the alias created. Or else we can even use the grep command to identify the particular log. If you see, this is the accounting log in 10.10, how it displays the data as like in host method and URI and then the host name. Let's see how it has been enhanced in 10.11 version. Let me execute the same output in 10.11. So let's see the accounting log in 10.11. If you see in 10.11, it clearly mentions who has executed this REST URI. The REST URI is executed by user admin. You see here the same logs in 10.10. It just mentions user equal to admin. But here it clearly mentions that URI is executed by user admin from address and through REST session, and the URI where the method is post and the response code is 201. If you could see here, it just mentions the method post, but there is no update about the response code. For 10.11, there is a method post and response code is 201 as mentioned. And next comes the payload part. In 10.10, the payload part is missing, but in 10.11, it has been added with payload as alias definition. And it mentions which is the show command that has been used for creating the alias definition, and then the alias name. And it also mentioned it resulted in success. So this is the enhancement added in Audit Log in 10.11 for DODIN APL certification. Let's see the other major enhancement, password complexity. The password complexity can be enabled via REST and CLI as well. Let me show with the CLI first. So once we give the password complexity, it will let you into the password complexity context. Here there are options. First, let us enable this. Let's see the options available. For character complexity, we have the count of lowercase character, numeric character, special character, and uppercase character. And we have positional changes where we can mention the minimum number of positions that must differ in the new password. And the history count can help us to configure the number of previous password check to prevent the reuse. Let's see the demo with the WEBUI. I'll open the WEBUI of the switch. And the switch WEBUI, you have to go to the users page. Here I'm clicking the admin user. I'm trying to change the admin user password. So here it displays the password complexity rules. So what are the values associated for these password complexity rules? Now let's see the password I am trying to change. So currently the password is set as admin. First, let me try to change it as admin123. Now it will say the password is similar to the old one. Let's change it to a different password. Now I'll try to give the password as user123. And it says password does not meet the minimum length rule. So I'll make it as user1234. And it will say the password character complexity rule is not fulfilled. So let's change the password characters. So I'll make sure one uppercase is there, one special character is there, and then one numeric character is there. So now the password has been successfully changed. So this is the major enhancement for password complexity as part of DODIN APL certification. So now we are at the end of this demo session. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you have any further queries, do post your queries in our AREDS community. See you all.